You have thoroughly prepared for your board exams and you are all set to write the papers. But you end up doing silly mistakes because of which you may lose few marks here and there. This video provides you with the tips and tricks that you need to follow while solving Class 10 Computer ICSE board papers. So let's get started. Hey there, Shalini Mittal here from Tech Gatha, and let us understand the tips you need to follow by taking the 2019 sample paper. So if you can see on my screen, I have a paper of 2019. We all know that for class 10 computer papers, there are two sections, section A and section B. Section A is always of 40 marks, section B is always of 60 marks. You get 2 hours to solve the paper plus 15 minutes to thoroughly read the paper. My suggestion is utilize the 15 minutes, read the papers thoroughly, understand which section you feel easier to solve and start solving that section first. In section B, you always have 6 questions from which you have to solve any 4. Identify those 4 questions which you feel you will be able to solve and then just focus on those 4 questions. One more important point when you solve the paper is 2 hours. Section A should be completed in 40, max 45 minutes. So see, in section A you have 20 questions, each question of 2 marks and 2 minutes for one question. That is 40 minutes. I am telling you to take 5 minutes as a grace period because you may have some questions which may require output based and you may need some time to solve these type of questions, right? So 40 to 45 minutes max. If you require more time than 45 minutes to solve section A, I would suggest leave the paper, the section A, after 45 minutes, go to section B, solve section B and then come back to section A. In section B, 4 questions, do not take more than 15 minutes to solve each question. So you should have a target of getting solved every question in 15 minutes. So that covers 1 hour 45 minutes to solve section A and section B. In section B, then you get 15 minutes of spare time. You can utilize that time either revising the paper, going through it once again, you haven't made any silly mistakes, or going to the questions that you have left, or sometimes it happens for section B you may require more time because there are programs which requires logic, right? Now when you start section A, there are a few very important points that you have to remember. Whenever there are questions like differentiation, with these questions, see whenever you have these type of questions, always make sure that for 2 marks you at least write 2 points. So for example, unary and binary operator. So unary works on single operand, right? Binary works on 2 operands, we know that. Unary operator modifies the value of the operand it works upon. Binary operator does not modify the value. Always make sure that you write examples. It's not that if you don't write example you will lose marks or if you gain marks, but it's always better to write an example. The advantage is, suppose I have 2 papers of 2 students, once both of them have scored 100 marks, right? So both are the students of the same class, same paper, same time. This student has written example and this student hasn't. I get a chance to cut half marks from here for not writing the examples. So I would always suggest that you write examples. Do not combine these 2 statements in one by using conjunctions or prepositions of English. Always try to break the statements and always try to write 2 statements for every differentiation, explain, what is, these type of questions. Then you have the keywords, so you can just write the keywords that's used. Now whenever the question comes like this for memory capacity, when it's asked in bytes specifically, please make sure to write in bytes only. Do not write in bits and always write the unit. So say for example you write for short, you write 2 and bytes. Do not miss the unit while writing the size of any data type. You have to identify and name the tokens. Just please go ahead and do that. Then again differentiation over here. When you write differentiation, again the same thing. Write 2 points and also write an example, very important. Whenever you have questions like output based, try to write the working. So like in this case, you don't have any working to show it, so it's totally fine. But then you do have a question, say for example over here. So it's always better that you create a column which is of rough and you write your working over there. It's always suggested to show your working and it's better. There are 2 advantages to it. See, while you're solving these kind of programs. So say for example, you said I is 5 greater than equal to 1, I minus minus, this runs 5 to 1. Okay, so you say first time when I is 5 greater than equal to 1, the condition is true. Correct? You go inside. I is 5, mod 2 is 1, right? I have to continue. Then my I becomes 4. For 4, mod 2 is 1, no, because mod 2 is 0. In that case, I print the value of I with a space, right? And you have to remember it's print and not println. This is very, very important. Understanding whether it's print or a println, whether you will write the next output on the next line or on the same line. If there is a space, make sure that for the next value, you do put a space. When you write the working, there are 2 advantages to it. One, the instructor understands that you have understood the program. Second, it may happen that by the time, say for example, you reach to I to 2 and you are doing mental, right? It's mental maths that you are doing the calculations. Here it's a very simple loop, but it may happen you get a loop which does some calculations. By the time you reach to I equals to 2, something happens, some disturbance, some student got some issue or whatever it is, right? Or there's an announcement, you get distracted. Then you have to go back again from 5 because you were doing it mentally. When you write it down, it makes it easier. Okay, fine. Where you left out was at I equal to 2. So it becomes easier for you to understand when you write it. Write the working of the programs, these output based questions. Whenever you have these kind of questions like write Java expression, make sure to put round brackets wherever required. So right now this is a simple example where you will be writing math dot abs in the round bracket. You will be saying x into x plus you will be having 2 into x into y, right? So you can write this, no issues about it. But you may have questions like for example, there is x plus y divided by x minus y. If you want to convert this expression to a Java expression, do not forget the round brackets. They are very, very important. Otherwise, it will change the expression. So always make sure read the mathematical expression very carefully and accordingly convert it to the respective Java expression. At the same time, if an expression comprises of say for example 2 pi r, okay. Now for pi, do not do this. This is wrong. You cannot write an expression in Java like this. Alternatively, you will be writing 2 into 22 by 7 into r, or you can say 2 into, you can use math class dot, there is a pi variable. You can alternatively use this as well, and both are correct, there are no issues. Again you have r cube, say for example in any expression. You can choose to write r into r into r, or math dot pow, we know the pow function, in the bracket r comma 3. So both are correct, you can choose any of your options. Now this is again very important. Whenever you have questions like solving for math class, right? We know that math, most of the functions return value is of type double. So when you say square root math.max 9 comma 16, so max is 16, square root is 4, please write 4.0. So say for example you get a question math dot ceil of 3.8. Please write 4.0. Do not miss this 0.0. It is very, very important. You may lose half marks. So, can you see small things, but then you end up losing half marks everywhere. Again, for stater difference, please write example. So wherever possible, if you can write examples, do write examples. This statement, write the return data type, not required to write an example because it just asks for writing the return data type, correct? Then moving ahead, we have evaluate. Again, when you are evaluating this particular expression, right, as I said, please make sure you write the output. So, say for example with this one, your x is 2 plus minus z, so z is 1, minus z is 0 plus y plus its post increment, so y will be 3 plus, now after post increment again when you use y, it increments the value of 3 to 4. So write these expressions, and then when you solve, it becomes easier. 4 plus 3 plus 2, that is 9, right? Again, some questions will ask give an example, some questions won't. They ask you or not, please write an example. Now coming to section B, few points that you need to remember while doing section B. First, do not write class names as ABC, XYZ, no. Like for example here, design a class name showroom. So here it's given class name showroom. If you come down, using a switch case, write a menu driven program, right? So you can write class menu driven, or you can write class generate, right? So you can write a semantical meaning to the classes. Believe me, some schools do cut half mark or 1 mark or 2 marks even if you do not write the class names properly. They have to be logical. Secondly, whenever you write programs, try to use as less variables as possible. Reason, you end up writing the variable listing for all those variables. Make a habit, whenever you write a program, after that you again revisit the program if you can reduce any variables. Don't do it in the board papers, return the program, done, and then don't go and try to reduce the variables. Whatever it is there, provide the variable listing. You may end up writing some wrong logic for it. So whatever is convenient, but my suggestion is try to use as less variables as possible. Secondly, for example, when you start writing a class, so I say class generate, right? And then I write variables. So we declare variables. So say for example, you will be writing public static void main. You will be having the method. And see, we declare variables, right? So maybe I'll need int a, b, maybe I may need a char variable. I don't know whatever the program is. Many times you might have realized while writing the program, you write, say you declare 3 variables, you start writing the program, you write the logic. In between you realize you need one more variable, you go back and then you end up having no spaces. In those scenarios, I always suggest the place where you're declaring your variables, leave a line, leave 1 or 2 lines. So declare say 3-4 variables, leave 2 lines and then start writing your actual logic. If you are running short for time while doing these kind of programs in section B, then for the variable listing you can just leave some space and you can come back to it later on. Make sure you mark the question with something, maybe say VL or asterisk, just to make sure you are revisiting that question. Then if it asks write a main method or not, always try writing a main method, create the object of the class and call the methods. If the question doesn't say take the input from the user. So if you see for this example, it says create a class showroom, blah blah blah, the variables, the member methods, right, and then main method and call the above member methods. That's it. They don't say that take the input from the user. In that case, when you are creating the object of this class, so when you say showroom OB is equals to new showroom, right, you write the syntax, and then you can say OB dot, or when you pass in the values for the constructor. So if you would see over here, it says default constructor to initialize data members, input to input constructor name, mobile number, cost and calculate. So here basically it says to take an input. So in this input function, you will end up writing the scanner object. Okay. If a function is declared over here without any parameters, do not add your own parameters. No, that means they're expecting you to take the input from the function only. Next, you also need to remember that if they say default constructor, please define a default constructor and just initialize the variables like name is equals to empty quotes, mobile number equals to 0, cost equals to 0, discount is 0 and amount is 0 inside the showroom constructor. Do not add any extra instance variables apart from what is defined. Do not add your own instance variables, not recommended and not required as well. That's all from my side, guys. All the best, keep rocking, and whatever information I've provided, it's from my experience of past 5 years dealing with different students, different schools of ICSE board across India. And if any questions you have, feel free to ping in the comment section below. Any tips that you have, you want to add on, also provide in the comment section below. And if you like the video, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Happy learning, take care and bye-bye.